Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Greg Marshall, and today I'm going to kind of put you through a presentation for the 7 steps to creating a brand strategy. So, one of the most important things when you're going to market your business is you have to think about the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is all about building brand so that people know what you're trying to communicate and what you do, how you do it, and why you do it. All right, so I'm going to go over 7 different steps to creating a brand strategy. So, the first thing we're going to go over is messaging. So you have to decide on what your core message will be and then create every marketing activity that you'll do to communicate that message. The messaging must be strong and it should be memorable. If your message is not compelling, there's no amount of paid advertising that can fix this. So this should be a big emphasis for you. So a lot of businesses when they're trying to build their brand, they don't focus enough on the messaging and getting that core message to resonate with their audience. And so what they do is they're too much of in a rush to try to hurry up and get their paid ads out there and get advertising and get sales before they ever spend the time to develop their marketing message. So this is a very key aspect if you're looking to be successful with building a brand is you have to be willing to focus on your messaging and make sure that it's resonating with the audience. So that kind of starts with knowing who you're trying to talk to and why you're trying to talk to them so that you can go ahead and make the most powerful message that you can so that when your audience sees it, they know that your company, your brand is for them and that they should take action. All right. So the first one is messaging. So the second thing you want to do is you want to focus a lot on community building. This is an overlooked part of the branding strategy that is usually the community building part because it's perceived as hard work and it does take an investment of your time. But if you want to build a long lasting business or brand, you have to take this part serious. Building a loyal community, you'll be able to utilize a lot of word of mouth referrals, which is the holy grail of marketing because the cost per acquisition of a new client is really low and the sales cycle is extremely short. So if you're thinking about wanting to increase your sales and increase the value of your business, I highly recommend that you focus on community building and getting people who are interested in what you're doing. Now, what this means is you have to respond back to people who comment on your videos or your content, and you have to make sure that you're actually participating in your content. You don't want to have a bunch of comments and you never respond because that's not really building a community. So this is an investment of your time and your money, but it will be worth it if you're serious about building a long-term brand. All right. So focus on community building. And what that means is your community can be 2 people, it can be 1 million people. Don't necessarily worry about just the size of the community. Focus on how deep you can get with the people that are inside the community. So that's strategy number 2. Number 3 is to invest in relationships. So look at all your most loyal customers and employees and think about how you can invest more into the relationship. By investing back into your relationships, you'll be able to keep your customers around for a longer period of time while getting word of mouth business. Also, by investing into your employees, you'll have a lower turnover rate, which will allow you to keep your payroll expenses under control and your revenues higher. So make sure that you invest heavily into your relationship. A strong brand, if you look at any brand that's out there, really takes the relationships extremely serious. And when we talk about serious, we're talking about connecting, right? You don't have to be best friends with everyone that's involved in your business, but you do have to think about how can I best take care of the people who are investing in me and my company. All right. So you want to think about how can I invest in relationships that will be able to make me and the customers connect on a much deeper level versus transactional, which is purely about how can I get something without giving something, right? So focus on the relationship. I guarantee you that if you have this mindset and you focus on a long-term relationship, you will have a long-term successful business. Okay. Next step, content marketing. All right. So if you're going to do branding, then you're going to need to create content that is either educational or entertaining or both. So if you're good enough, you can do both. Some people are very, very entertaining. Some people are just extremely educational, but you can find your niche. and your voice, the way you kind of tell your story. So don't worry about if you don't have a big personality. You don't need a big personality. You just need to be able to create content that's either educational or entertaining. All right. You're going to want to use different formats such as video, audio, visual, and written. Keep in mind that when you're creating content, that it's in line with your messaging and the image you're trying to put out there for maximal benefit. The reason why you want to use content marketing is it's a great way to get people to know what you do, how you do it, and why you do it, so that they can go ahead and invest in whatever it is that you have to offer. If you don't have any content, people can't figure out what it is you're trying to promote or who you even are, right? And if they don't know who you are and they don't understand what you're trying to do and how you can benefit them, then you won't have a brand. You'll just have people that are just looking at your stuff and moving on. So focus on content marketing. There is a direct correlation with the types of content you put out and how consistent you are, which I'm going to go over that later, and the success rate of your overall brand. So make sure that you're investing in content marketing and try different methods till you kind of find your sweet spot. All right. So the next one is we're going to move to consistency. All right. So if you want your brand or your message to be memorable, then you have to be consistent, because this is a long-term play. Branding is all about long-term. It's not about, you can't build a brand in one day with an ad. Okay. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. You cannot build a brand in one day with an ad. You have to do it consistently over time. So you have to think every investment in content, every investment in community management, every phone call, every contact, you're actually depositing equity into your brand each and every day. It's like a bank account. So you have to look at it that way. Not, is this a waste of my time, or what's in it for me? It can't be purely selfish. It has to be a win-win on both ends. All right. So some of the big mistakes brands make when it comes to their strategy is they don't invest enough of their time consistently putting out content and investing in relationships. Like anything else in life, consistency and patience for good things to happen are only going to happen if you're consistent. You can't start and stop. I tell all my clients this all the time. Do not, whatever you do, once you get the ball rolling and things start happening, do not stop. A big mistake that I see a lot of people and brands do is they start something and they stop, and they start and they stop. It's kind of like trying to lose weight, right? You go on a crazy diet for 2 weeks and you stop. 6 months later, you start again. And you just keep doing that. And over time, you're probably actually doing more harm in what you're trying to accomplish than you're actually gaining. So focus on consistency. You don't have to be perfect right off the bat, but you do have to be consistent. That is one thing that I can guarantee you. If you're not consistent, you're going to have a very difficult time building a brand. So make sure you're staying consistent with what you're doing. All right. Next one, social proof. So most people want to do business with brands that other people either endorse or have used before. No one wants to be just that very first customer on a product that they don't know if it's going to work or not. So what you want to do is make sure that you have people, you got testimonials, you have ways of showing that other people enjoy the experience of working with your company, your brand. All right. So in order to overcome this, you're going to need to display that other people believe in your brand. And the ways to do that: getting your brand on TV, testimonials, writing for credible publications, growing social media accounts with other happy people that like your content, pictures with other people endorsing you, being a published author, or any other activity that shows that you have social proof and authority. Now, you want to make sure that you're demonstrating the truth, all right? So you don't want to abuse this by showcasing things that you never did, like you speaking on a stage that you never spoke at, but you took a picture in front of. All right, you do not want to do that. You want to capture moments, real moments of your successes, so that when people see it, they're like, oh, this is what that company does, this is what that brand does, this is how they do it, and this is why they do it. And if you go ahead and focus just on that, get that social proof, it's going to be able to help a lot of your content marketing. It's going to be able to help the lead time and the closing times and shorten up your sales cycle. Because if people aren't worried about, can I trust this business, can I trust this brand, and they already have gotten a referral or see that other people like it, they're most likely going to take action and go ahead and do business with you, as long as you have a good product and you offer it correctly. So social proof is very important. you see the most successful companies, brands, individuals utilize social proof and maximize it because they know how important it is. We as human beings, we just don't want to be the first or only customer in something unless it's mega exclusive. And we know that it's mega exclusive and it's hard to get into. So make sure you're not make sure you're not doing social proof. All right. Sorry, I had a little tongue twist there. So next thing is emotional attachment. So when people look at your brand, you want them to feel a certain level of emotion where they're attached to you and your message. Your job is to figure out what emotions you want to create and then make sure that the content you create for that communicates that particular emotion. If you can get people to feel emotional, you will have a massive advantage over your competitors because people buy based off emotion and justify off logic. So if you can have them feel an emotion such as extreme happiness or pride or even passion, if you do things like that and you focus on making sure that your brand has an emotional attachment to it, you're going to be able to not only get new customers, but most importantly, keep customers. And that's the key. You want to be able to make sure you're keeping them. So make sure you have an emotional attachment to your business in the sense of when someone sees your logo, when someone sees you, when someone sees a representative of your company or brand, they get a certain feeling side. You kind of want them to get a little warm and fuzzy. So if you guys need any marketing help, make sure to email me at greg@gregmarshall.co, not .com, but Greg, Greg, at gregmarshall.co. Go ahead and send me an email. Let me know what type of business that you're in, any specific questions that you have. What I typically do with businesses and brands is I help them in a multitude of ways, anywhere from paid advertising to content marketing to coming up with an entire launch marketing strategy. So if you need help with anything that pertains to marketing or growing your business, make sure to email me at greg@gregmarshall.co. Hopefully you enjoyed this presentation, and I'll talk to you guys later.